make it less evil, you know?
Well,
Eric speaking facts with Newfoundland.
straight facts, no printer.
Yee. He's quick like that.
Eric doesn't like, in that equation up there, they gave him, well,
I don't like that there's
you have this equation,
Okay.
you add B,
Yeah.
and you made some A. What are the reactants?
A and B.
No, they're A. They can only be A, because you wrote it down. That's A. Reactants
Yeah,
are
okay,
always
yeah,
move up, whereas Eric made the point that if you're adding B, aren't those the reactants? And the answer is no, of course not.
But it's making A.
But you have a KQ that is products over reactants.
Yeah.
You have to know where the products are before you do anything in order to understand that number.
Okay.
So we've defined the reactants as on the left when it's written down.
Yeah.
So, but in terms of the experiment, it doesn't make any sense to call it that. We only do that as a written rule. And I had never thought about how bizarre that rule was until Eric asked that question.
We wrote our test yesterday.
Thank you very much.
I didn't enjoy that titration curve, but I'll forgive you.
Okay then.
I was serious.
Well, the good news is marks are already in.
Mark, increase or decrease?
Did you get a chance to talk to Miss School?
Nobody's marks went down.
Actually,
mine.
I have stuff marked, and I have had no time to put marks in, really. So I eyeballed it if it went up, and if it went down, I just ignored it. You have a final exam.
yes, let's go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Over there, tutoring Saturday or no?
I am on duty Sunday.
How good is your
I don't know
eyeball?
how to show up Sunday. Sunday is, which is not for
Sunday. How far away do you live, Eric?
I can, but I gotta do my create, what's it called? Some sort of project with Mr. Lewinsky.
What?
I have to make a video about the history of logarithms.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
What's in there?
I got some. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, you can.
I was back in kindergarten. Give it to me.
Tea.
Yo, you don't.
We're doing the tea today. And I'm live streaming, so we're good to go there. That is ours. Is that us? Okay, can you get out to there? Pull out your things. What are we, Friday, 10:25? Yeah, we are. I'm going to teach you. Laptops away. Pull out your notes. Quick. Oh, your laptops are your notes. For the people who draw.
These are iPads.
What is an iPad?
It's a very fine distinction.
It's like a bigger phone.
It's a tablet that you have theoretically in your lap. It's literally a laptop. That's my bar.
My bar.
No, I need that for a science experiment. Maintenance, cut that to me specifically. Okay,
I still got my ball.
last day we were balancing,
Where's this coming from?
and we did this.
Mr. Neufeld, you're
What?
missing your balls.
What?
That was just sitting at the plate.
Was it?
Yep.
I didn't request that. That's just a magnetic ball. Okay. Gentlemen, you're late. Quickly.
Test? Are we gonna get a test results back?
No.
Please?
No.
What? No.
Oh yeah, when should I write my test?
Gleb, one thing that is slightly annoying is when you come in late and then disrupt the class with questions. So I'm going to say you're going to get yours back,
You didn't write the test.
the latest out of
The last
everybody.
thing
We haven't
I said
started
it
yet.
was yesterday.
Right now, I am
The
started.
music class yesterday.
So I didn't come in.
Glad you're still going. Like, honestly, this is irritating. I've got to get going. You've got a certain amount to get done today. It's not a lot. I don't want to get it done. I want to make sure you have practice. Make everybody going. Okay. This is the equation from last day you did on the board. Just make sure you have it there because I'm going to show you one more step. Maybe I'll put Gleb onto marking all the ones that are getting done.
I'll do that, please.
That actually might be a good compromise.
Wait, can we go to the top one?
This is the one you did on the board the last day?
Yeah, I just forgot to write it down.
Yeah. So you in order, you balance the major atoms. So the major atoms are all the atoms that are not oxygen and hydrogen. The oxygen you balance by adding the appropriate amount of waters to the opposite side. Also, if at any point you can't take it anymore and you don't want to do chemistry, you're welcome to pack boxes. Huh? Ah.
Of
Everything in here has to be packed up to go to the new building.
What page is this? Oh, it's the next
There we go. Okay?
What? Pack boxes? Will you give us a grade for packing boxes?
How
No.
many points is one back?
Yeah.
One
Well,
box
that's just, no, you're just being nice.
No, we're helping you, so you help us back.
But right now, you're also
It's
disrupting.
like a favor for a favor.
Glad your market is going down. -1 for every time that
Wait,
you're
no,
interrupting.
Go back.
Bro, it's your idea. I wasn't.
Thank you.
I know, I'm so regretting it.
Just advancing on your idea.
And if you want to quietly do that.
I was so packed.
I was more thinking like you're studying and you need like a 5-minute break, not in the middle of a lesson. I wasn't clear. That's clearly my fault.
Whoa. What? This is not
Have you seen Ms. Walensky?
Like what?
I told her not to say that to me.
What?
She got like a crazy.
She has stitches like this, she essentially dragged her face along the river bottom, hit multiple rocks.
Let's be a 6
What?
star though.
It's gonna be, but
Like recently?
gender-wise, having a cool scar is often cooler for one side than the other. I feel quite bad for Ms. Walensky.
Is she in the hospital right now?
No, she waited there for like 3 hours because once they figured out it didn't damage her eye, and she had all her teeth, then it's not as critical. Right now, COVID's back up again, so the hospitals are understaffed and people. COVID's still going. There's waves. There's new variant. We've been not reporting it anymore, but it's still there, and it's not doing. Sorry, biochemistry is my background. It's not doing the normal flu variant thing where they go away at certain times a year. It's not relaxing into that, so we're still getting them. If you see anybody right now with a really bad cold, probably got COVID.
There's some kid in our house that's just like,
Some kid. There's like 5.
oh, there is.
Yeah, there's lots.
Of what?
COVID.
Oh.
No,
Potential COVID.
just kids. Just
Oh.
regular kids.
Lots of kids.
Okay.
Okay, everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, this
Cool is-
one is balanced in neutral. So, this is balanced in neutral solution. In neutral solution, we have access to H plus due to H plus plus OH minus goes to H2O. Or acid. This is balanced in acid. Obviously, there'd be H plus in acid as well. What there isn't is any hydroxide. So if you had to balance this, because let's say this reaction only takes place in basic solution. If I said this had to be balanced in basic solution, the new mnemonic I'm going to add on to that is that you have to drown it. So we drown major hydroxide. This cannot exist in basic solution. There'd only be hydroxide. There'd be no H plus. So in order to so you just balance it as normal. You get to this point, and then we drown it. And by what I mean by drowning it is we add the same amount of waters as we have H plus. So we make a new equation. We just go. We have 14 H pluses. We add 14 waters. Josh, I don't think you can see from there. You want to adjust the table or use a different spot or take the boxes off? Now, in a solution, what equation does water do?
Dissociate.
It dissociates into what?
H and O.
H and O. H and O?
Oh wait, no, H and OH.
Yeah, if we have 14 waters, how many H pluses do we get?
1. Oh, wait, no. 14.
14. We've got 14 of both. And so this is just a way of balancing it out so we can get rid of the H plus, but accounting for the charge balancing and how this would work. So we would then go,
Wait, why is it 14 if it's H?
we need the mechanism to balance it in for base is we take the amount of H plus we have
Yeah.
and we add the same amount of water.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then that just carries through. Maybe I should indicate on that on here. For anybody who's not here, I will circle those. Same H2O as H plus, so that's complete. And you've done algebraic equations, adding them, subtracting them, that sort of thing. Math. So if we have 14H plus on this side and 14H plus on that side, what happens to the amount of H plus? Cancels. So this completely cancels. If I have 14H2O there and 7H2O here, what happens? 7H2O at the bottom. So this one completely goes away. And that one goes 14 minus 7, also 7. And there's no hydroxide, so we just keep the 14 hydroxide. So our final balanced equation in base is 6 electrons plus 7H2O plus Cr2O7 2 minus goes to 2Cr plus 3 plus 14 hydroxide. This maintains the charge balancing you did with the electrons, because you count this up. This is minus 8. And with 2Cr2 plus 3, so that's 6, plus 14 OH minuses. So 14 negatives and 6 positives is also minus 8. So it's all stayed there.
Where did the H2O come from? On the left side.
The 14H2O?
The 7. Oh yeah.
We canceled. It had 14, but there was 7 on this side, so we canceled. Don't say You make me nervous when you say
No, I got it.
So like if I have 2x plus 3x equals 7z, and I have 3z plus 2x is equal to 1y. When you add those, you've done this before, you go, oh, 3z and 7z, that's going to be 4z.
That's a bad way to show it. Can I write it?
No.
No, because 7 and then you change it to that side and then it
Oh, you want to go like minus 7z.
Yeah.
Hold it.
No,
Minus 3z.
Minus 3z.
Minus 3z.
Yeah,
That's a better way to
that's
show
a
it.
much
Fair.
better.
My brain is just skipping steps.
Don't worry.
Look, it says
Sorry
it's
for
OH.
Thank you. Okay?
I have to find you forgiving.
Sorry?
Is that good?
I guess so.
Why are you so late?
Oh, I was mad sleeping.
Gonna punch you. But Etienne, Etienne's gonna teach you all you need to know about drowning major hydroxide.
So can I just take the photo as well?
No, we'll go back to it. What I would like you to do, it's recorded. I'll go back. You can take a picture. It's no big deal.
Oh,
grab a partner, do this one on the board, and then drone it so that it's balanced and base. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I guess.
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, grab your partner, grab a pen, go to the board.
No, I don't have yours. How do you know how much
You gotta do it in four next one, let's go.
Yep.
So much extra
How do you know how
work.
much?
You're using H plus. Well, do it in order. Major atoms first. So major hydroxide. So major OH and then electron. So you add first the waters, you balance the oxygens, and then add the H plus to whatever side needs more H in the balance. So you know by because you need to how many to balance.
Two waters. That'll get you 4 H pluses on the other side.
Come up to the board with this question, and it might be easier to go through the steps.
No,
No, I was talking to.
I'm very.
Electrons are big.
And water is in this distribution all the time.
So on
Pushing
pushing
H2O to 400 plus and 40 That's happening all the time.
What's the
So
charge?
we can just add that
Sure.
to our and just to left side and then
So, yeah,
balance. And then we cancel.
This is the equation.
14 H2O and 7
So you
H2O
don't have to do
cancel.
any of
Okay, which is 7 H2O on the left and 0 H2O on the right.
Why not let me 3 plus?
And then the H is fully cancelled. And then
Major OH. Major is one.
yeah, that's the process. And then adding two equations, cancelling, and then that's it.
And you get this. This one is just. Why would it be?
And then to do the drowning, you do 2 H2Os on the
But
left
that's-
side.
Is it
Because we have
When
seven,
you go back up to the,
times two is
to
about
the,
14.
can you go back up to the,
The previous one?
Seven, no, and that's why we need 7 H2O.
So that can
Plus
cancel.
Plus 2 HDO.
That one?
No, it'd be,
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
no, I'm just
Wait,
looking
plus
at it.
no, it's H2O plus
So you'd have 7. What
Yeah,
would
Do you see why I added the 14 H2O? Just as a step.
I mean, you just added it to the left because.
I added it because I wanted to get rid of the H plus. So the numbers have to match if I want to get rid of it.
That's 7, 14 OH minus left now.
No, because.
I would. I'll do it the way Tio has been doing it. If I didn't do all that crossing out and I just added this, do you see how I got
Yeah.
this? If I make that 14 to match, those both have to be 14, right?
Instead of
Yeah.
So if I just add it and I go 6 electrons plus 14 H plus 14 H2O, because I added it, plus Cr2O7 2 minus, plus 14 H because I added it, plus 2 Cr plus 3, plus 14 OH minus, plus 7 H2O. Right?
plus,
And then I just go, well, minus 7 H2O, minus 7 H2O.
Okay, no, I see it.
And so then I'm just canceling. Minus 14H plus, minus 14H plus. They're the same on both sides, so they're just completely gone.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay? Gleb, do you want to work with TO on the board with the next
I'm
question?
just gonna write it down for see if I can.
Okay.
So he's canceling.
Send Josh, find a board, do the next one
That splits it up.
from scratch, because then we can see if you can follow along on the steps.
Plus 3 OH. So this cancels. Oh, so.
I'm just gonna take,
I'll see. You want to just
call me up if you're having problems starting, or if you want me to check your work. H plus and no H minus. It's the, KW equation.
And
No, it's the one from Masters and Basics. Remember?
Yo, Tim, we got another pen over there?
H2O goes to H plus.
Pen's pretty dead already.
Oh, H minus. And it has KW, we did that? That's what this is all.
Okay.
So, a little bit of Masters and Basics. Nice, perfect. Yeah, I can go right.
what the signal?
What I just memorized in my head, I get 3 H's and 2 E minus, I'm like, you're right.
oh, we have one negative here.
Nice.
So we need plus 3.
Now you just have to drown it, I think.
Drown it.
Oh wait, are we drowning it?
Yeah, in base.
We're drowning it in base?
So once you're done, put it into base.
So we put 3H2O.
How did they cancel it?
So we go 1 plus it's like 3 and 2 that cancels, and then H plus is cancelled too, so that's
This is 3 already.
and then
Nice.
Is that right?
that cancels.
You didn't make the mistake the other class did, and almost everybody. Nice, keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see that extra
Now you just have to drown it. So now it has to be done in base. So now you have to fix it so it's in base.
What do you fix it? Oh, I know.
Do the drowning. Yeah.
State have done that.
Also, wait, we have different though. You have 2 E and we have 3 E.
Because there's a minus right here.
I know, but we have it because it's a minus.
It has to be a minus in original.
HPV.
It's negative, 1 negative on the right side here, right?
Yeah, so.
And you have it so
So look,
it's,
the whole thing is minus.
Yeah.
The whole thing is 3. So you get 2. You get plus 2 here. Over here you have 0. So you need a minus 2.
I know,
No.
but you need a minus
I think
3
you're
because
neutral.
you need it to
you
be.
need it to be negative,
Oh
not
my
neutral.
god, it's on this
What?
one.
Because it's.
That the left hand side is 0.
Yeah, so yeah, but it's the right hand side. The right hand side.
No,
is-
the electrons are to balance the whole equation. So the right should be the same as the left, and the left should be the same as the right.
But then this, yeah,
Even though it's not like that in the original.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The original is unbalanced in all ways,
Oh, okay.
even charge. So you're not. Oh, I see what you mean. You're not restoring it to the original one. You're making them the same. Okay. Good. Good catch.
is this right?
What? You've got 2 and 3 hydroxides. That looks right. Hold it. Why 2 H2O?
Because we had 3 and 2.
Oh,
So
No. What you're doing is because you want hydroxide, the thing that is making it not allowed is the H plus. So the thing you're drowning is always the H plus.
Okay.
So you need 3, 3, and 3. That's the number you match.
Oh.
And on that side, it's on the right side for it. You want the same side. But that made way it makes 3 H pluses on that side, and that way it completely cancels.
If you're an AT,
And 3 O
Wait,
H.
you want this on this side?
you
No, no.
just make it all
You
better.
drown the H plus.
This is X,
with the same amount of
Y,
water.
Z.
Okay.
So that goes on that side,
Each
and then you get 3 of each.
I should know that.
I would do H2O as like its own. Like anything with H or O, I would do that. Actually, PB would be its own. No, I think it's good.
And don't forget the charge.
Do we have to write that down somewhere?
If you want to write this down, there's a spot there for you to do it. I'll do it on the board now that most of everybody's had a crack at it. Major atoms are done.
wait, Nuke, what was the mistake that everybody did in the last class?
The mistake that everybody, not quite everybody, quite a lot of people did, that very few people did here, I don't think I saw it anywhere, is that most people forgot about the H in front of the PbO2, so when they're counting hydrogens, they always put 4H plus instead of 3. Whereas here, everybody just got 3. You're looking at the whole equation in a much better way. So that was nice.
Plus 2 points.
Plus 2 points for Gryffindor. So, Major's done. Oxygen, so we got 2 H2O. Now that's done. Now I need the hydrogen, so I've got 4 in this, so plus 3H plus. Hydrogen's done. And that is plus 3 neutral 2E minus. And then, to drown it, I add 3 waters to the side that has the H plus. And like I did, unlike I did before, 3, 3, 3. I'll fully add them. So anybody that was confused with that, I like Theo's way of explaining that. 3 hydroxides plus 3 H plus 2 H2O plus PB goes to HPbO2 minus plus 3 H plus 2 minus. By adding it fully in, I can say that, well, I got minus 3H plus here, and minus 3H plus here. Oh, I forgot to add in the water. So, minus 2H2O there, minus 2H2O there. And I think that's all the things that are the same on both sides. So we end up with end up with 3OH minus plus PB goes to HPbO2 minus plus 2 electrons plus 1 H2O, or just H2O, 2 and 3. Am I different from anybody else? Okay. This is balancing half reactions this whole time. So we drown it. The instructions for drowning are here, but I showed you by just doing it here, and then we skipped ahead to here. That's just the instructions. I am going to skip that one. That's just more practice, because I want to get to this one, because this is now the full balancing. All we've been balancing before is little half reactions that have electrons. This is an entire unbalanced reaction. We have an oxidizing agent and we have a reducing agent. In that equation, there's 2 reactants. What are the 2 equations, that half reactions that are in that? If we were to divide that up into 2 equations, what would it be?
IO3 plus I2 and OSO4.
IO3 minus 1, so we pick that one up and we go, oh yeah, that has iodine in both sides. And it goes to I2. And then that means this one must match to that one. Yep.
I was just wondering, for when we get into studying for the final, can you tell us exactly which letters are going to be like?
I will tell you, you know when I've repeated what it says the very thorough course, whenever I don't teach, I don't mean that. That's just what my professor used to say. It will only be stuff we covered.
But like, we don't know.
And we've done up to T. And if I include anything from your lab, which is all the stuff beyond, I will tell you exactly the type of question I'm going to give you.
So will it be all of S and all of T, or just like T2 and T2?
All of S, all of T, up until the end of what this is.
Oh, so we won't be going any further.
No, because the other was just a redox not a redox, a titration. With redox, you already know how to do titration. It's not a big deal. I don't feel the need to specifically cover it. So if I have these 2 equations, oops, we need some space. I'm not sure I gave you space. These 2 equations now need to be balanced separately. So you take the overall reaction, you get your two equations, and balance both of them. Now we're just going to do this in acid. We won't draw on this one. We won't do it in base. You could at the very end if you wanted to, but you don't have to. Grab your partner. Do each one on the board, because then I can show you how to put them back together again. Should I start switching up groups, or are you fine just grabbing someone?
What is that, OS? Is that OS?
OS, osmium, not O5. That's a good point. It's osmium, OS, and OSO4. Okay? So osmium, not some weird pentaoxygen.
Oh, it's OS.
Yeah, not O5. Yeah, if each partner balances one of the equations, that's probably the fastest way to do it. Oh, where'd my pen go? There it is.
Huh? There's 6 each on the set. Three H2O because there's 3 O's. So you start off with 3 O's. First you add the water, then you add the H plus
Wait,
the
no.
water. You have to change the plus. Because this is all 0. And then here with this you have plus 6.
I heard you, yeah, 1 second.
5. So you do.
I just figured out a way that I might color code this.
So if you add 5 plus plus, so that's the yeah.
Is that all we have to do?
Balance each one. And then there's going to be one more step. I'm just going to hold on to it once you have it.
Alright, that's actually not
Okay?
Yeah, it's pretty chill.
And we have to double check for the steps. So I'm gonna balance the major atoms when I do them in black. Theo, what was your question?
Never mind. I made a mistake.
Oh, I love those types of questions.
Yeah. The left side
The
is
self-realization.
positive,
Exactly.
and this side is neutral. And electrons are subtracting the charge, so whichever side is higher is the side that you have electrons. Because electrons are bigger.
Everybody's up to at least
Oh, we're not drawing.
water. We're not drowning it. I'll,
6 H's.
The O's
Because
now.
there's 6
Just smash.
Oh my
And
God.
now we just need L and
is everybody up to the electrons?
Yes.
This is 10. Is that an emergency?
Wait, to put them together, do you just add them? And cancel?
Possibly.
What?
Oh, on the left.
I am not very bright sometimes. There we go. Do you you have 10 and 8? 8 just seems really large to me. I want to make sure I didn't still do something stupid. And 10 is even larger. Does everybody have 10 and 8 electrons?
Yeah.
Did I do something dumb? No? Okay. I think I picked this example because it's a realistic example, which is why we get a stupid amount.
Wait, what did you do last one?
Yeah.
I just added one and canceled.
4H2O. Oh, that's plus 8 OH ones. Oh, you didn't convert it into OH ones.
I know, we're not drowning. We're not drowning.
Oh, we're not drowning it?
No drowning. It's not in base.
Oh.
So once you have both your equations, you can stop.
Bye-bye.
Okay? Now,
Wait, can you hit there?
we're not quite done. This was all one equation. We have to make it back into one equation. And which one of these species do you never see in an equation? Electrons. Electrons can't be there. Right now, the electrons won't cancel.
Can you
What?
explain
Sure, which one?
the first one, please?
Major atoms, so I did 2. It's color coded like this. So I put 2 here because it's I2.
Okay.
That makes 6 oxygens, so 6 waters.
Okay.
6 waters means 12 hydrogens,
Yeah.
so 12 hydrogens. This side is 0. This side is plus 10 because of the 2 minuses and 12 positives.
Oh,
Okay, and that means 10 electrons. Okay. We need the number of electrons to be the same in order to cancel them. What number does both 10 and 8 go into?
80.
They don't
40.
both go to 2. What?
40.
They both go into 40. What times 10 is 40?
40.
Is that why we have to be on that way?
Pardon?
Is that why we have to do like 40 and stuff? That's so big.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. So we have to take this whole thing
Can we just add the two sides?
No, but
and times by 4. What do we have to times this one by? To make 40.
Wait, why were you multiplying by 4? Just to find a common denominator?
A common number of electrons to get them to cancel. So we multiply this one
Oh, it's all about it.
by 5.
because we can't have electrons in any equation. So they have to cancel.
Why does it have 10 though? We have 5.
Why do you have 5?
Why do you have 5?
That's the more important question.
Oh, because like 8 times 5 is
Yeah, you need 2 and then double.
balance it.
6.
Nah, you put the 2, I did the same thing. This is 4. No, that's 10.
I'm going to go through and correct the numbers. 6 times 4,
Oh, yeah.
24,
I thought you put 12.
4,
I'm gonna add mine.
8,
What's it? No.
48, 40.
So,
5 times 4, 20,
Why is it tiny?
5, 5, 40, 40.
Jesus Christ. Why we?
Multiply
I missed it.
to make
Why is it tiny?
how do you make a 5 with different
the electrons.
Well, serious question.
Electrons
How do you
Same.
make
Find the lowest common multiple.
Noof, I have a serious question. How do
Yep.
you make a 5 not with an S?
Oh God, I don't know.
That's what
Any-
I'm
any-
saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to ask Theo.
Yeah?
We're doing
Germany came up with this great invention. That is a 7, and that is a 1. How do you tell the difference?
To get my space.
Yeah, that's now a 7. So this is an S, and this is a 5. How do you tell the difference? Really? No, that's just money.
No. 5 is like this.
Okay, if the solution is that I have to write better,
Yeah.
I think we're on a losing path. There's no special notation in German.
Just 2 straight.
You saved me with 7s.
Put a hanger on top of the phone.
Oh, maybe make that 5 look like this.
Oh, oh.
Noof, I thought you just do the 5 like
That's
that.
No,
much
dude,
better.
dude, sometimes.
Noof,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just do 5 like that.
Oh, I like that.
But you can do that with an S, just make it recurrent.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work for me. Anyway,
See?
all the stuff in pink are numbers. So if you see a 5 there, it's actually a 5.
I'm really surprised.
Is now,
I think I like my notation.
I've said why we're doing this, but I want to double check. Does anybody not know why we're multiplying them?
I understand now.
You understand it? Okay. So now, guess what we do with the equations?
Add them.
We add them together.
That's too
Now you can cancel anything that's on both sides. I'll just add them and cancel afterwards so you can see it. But if you want to do it in advance, you can. But that means we have 40 electrons plus 48 H pluses plus 20 H2O
Like it's connected to one.
God, I'm going to have to write. So I put everything in there, but now we can see that these 40 electrons completely cancel. And I'll normally give you an example that isn't quite that messy, but we can see that, oh look, there's waters on both sides, so we can get rid of those. You want it as simple as possible. And H plus 5 S.
Bro.
Do you cancel all the electrons as well?
Yep, the electrons, the entire point was to cancel all the electrons.
That was the reason you did it.
There. And then you should, if I've also done my addition correctly, get an equation that looks like that. So that was with everything. I didn't cancel a single thing before I added. You could go straight from that by canceling back and forth to that if you wanted. That's usually what I would do if I'm trying to save myself a step, but just to show the process for anybody, especially if they're not here and they're trying to do this later. As well, for all those who aren't here, because they always go away rowing at this time, I have a series of redox lessons that aren't live streams. They are ones where I just sat down and went over it so my voice is actually clear and I go through the examples. I'm going to post those so you can have those for reference as well. I believe they still use the same examples. Did I change any examples last year or this year? I don't think so.
I'm insane. I got it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, insane.
Now, that's messy. It's a lot of algebra, but it's not difficult in terms of there's no extra chemistry going on there. It's just balancing. You're just making things the same. And this is why sometimes you can balance things and you'll bring it to like Mr. Snow or myself or Miss Carol and we'll go, it's not the same as the answer in the back of the book. Why? And we'll count and we'll say, yeah, there's the right number of osmiums on both sides. But the thing that you didn't have is like there's no H plus there, so your charges aren't balanced. And so you can balance equations that look balanced, but they're not redox balanced. They're not a balance for charge.
Is there an easier way of speedrunning this without doing all these?
There's a whole nother method of balancing called oxidation number. I find on average less students understand that one as quickly, but it is slightly faster once you get used to it.
Is there a way of doing it where you just look like, oh, IL3 at H8H?
No. When I was in university, there were some equations I did so often I had them memorized. But other than that, no. Yeah. Now, If you wanted to balance this in base, and this is a speed running type point, Gleb, for your point, you could have drowned both of these and then add them together, but what would be easier than doing that? Drown it at this point. So if I said do this in base and it was the whole darn thing, get the whole equation.
Wait, so you can drown it at the
You can drown it at this point. You can go 8 H2O goes to 8H plus 8OH minus and just put it in there
Wait, can you
and
drown
it's
it
fine.
like at the stage where they're both separate?
You could do it here. It's just twice as much work. Because now you have to do those, then multiply them out, then add them and cancel them. But it'll work either way. So it doesn't matter when you do it. It's just easier if you do it at the end. Good? This is the last thing. I will be formally going up and saying you have to know this. This section is just a titration. If you've done acid-base titrations, there's absolutely no difference, and I'm not going to put a specific question like that on your test anyway, so you don't have to worry about it. The other ones we have done in the lab, and define some of the terms. If you get a question like that, I will put it in there. Like I'll tell you exactly what type of question you're going to get. There will be a section at the end of the test that will have some choice in it, because Ms. Carroll wants to put some of her own questions in there, and so there might be redox type questions in there that we haven't done. Don't pick those. There will be enough questions that you will have choice, and you can pick any of the ones that you'd like.
That's so stupid. Why can't we just we have to pick through? What if we picked the wrong one that we didn't do?
Why would you pick that one?
Because how would we know?
If you can't solve it, don't do it. Like if you get a question, you go, I can't do that. Just don't do that question. There's not much difference between we didn't do it and you don't remember it. Right. Practically wise, I don't find that comes up too often. I have had students pick questions that we never covered and do extremely well in them because a lot of the stuff overlaps, and if you can make a reasonable prediction, they're not hard stuff. And technically, the handout from the lab is all the rest of the units. Like if you could just name all these things and predict electron flow, salt bridge and stuff, you're good too. But I'm not going to give you that one deliberately. But if someone spends time and effort studying it, they should be able to do it. Okay? Okay? To solidify it, let me just double check that one's not a crazy one with the electrons. No, that one's far more reasonable. It is 11:45. This is the last one. It's just to make sure you can do it. Grab a partner.
Oh, is this, is there only two types, in base and in?
There's only in base and in acid. So this one is in base. Don't do the drowning till the very end. Separate it into the two half reactions. All the way from scratch. So erase everything you got. And this is the last thing I'm going to make you do on the board today. I'm not allowed to just say you can go for early break this.
Early lunch.
I'll pass it off.
However, I will say,
Can we not
when you're
go
done,
for
and
early
if you've
bird?
got the right answer, and you're like, I need to go on my phone for 10 minutes, or just do something, I'm not going to mine.
Early lunch.
No, there's new rooms.
Early lunch.
We're not
Tell
blocking for lunch.
third blood teachers we're done.
We're watching a movie in English.
Exactly, I want to go to my room.
Oh, English is disgusting.
Yeah, no, I get, especially this time of year, teachers really notice which teachers let the kids go because it disrupts the ones who are trying to get something done. And
Who's trying to get anything done?
I mean, it's better now than never. You know?
You miss all the opportunities you don't take.
pardon?
You miss all the shots you don't take.
You're right. We should do more.
No.
We should take more shots.
I'd take getting out of class.
Have you seen the advertising? Well, not the. They were mocking the advertising campaign, and so they had all those Nike things, but they put it in front of people that were alcoholics.
How does that work?
You just show someone who's clearly in a bad state, trying to refuse a shot, and it's like you miss all the shots you don't take. Put so in front of someone who's clearly in a bad way, and you say, keep going, get up, keep doing it.
There you go. We gotta split this up. Oh, you already split it?
I already split.
Well, it's in OH.
drowning it at the very end.
Oh, at the very end? Okay.
It'll be a lot easier if you drown it at the very end.
Okay.
And so we multiply.
Is Josh coming back?
No,
I know his bag's still
the
here.
next one is C2.
Next week will be entirely review. I'm not going to do anything new. You'll come to class. There's review material up. There's old exams with full explanations for every question.
So do we have to show up for class?
Pardon?
Do we have to?
You have to show up for classes.
No. I was just trying to pull a step and.
Oh,
If there's
Oh,
a-
Seth.
it has to be. Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. There's two.
There's a student in the school, not Seth,
Here it's fine.
who's not getting colors.
Worst case,
Because their grades are good
so
enough,
we have
but
4 and
they have too
4
many
plus.
absences.
We don't
Oh.
need this.
I'm not going to
We
say.
don't need this.
Right, yeah.
But there was a big teacher discussion, the teachers meeting.
Is it Josh Gill?
Is it Sonic Privet?
Not going to say who it is.
It's definitely.
Who's at the house?
There's a
Pardon?
student who's
Is
not
that
getting
boy or
grades
girl?
because
Not gonna say.
they have the grades, but they're just not haven't shown up in them class.
What many people
Oh, Haru Soji.
Haru.
what many people forget is that it's not just your grades. If you get a below a certain standard on your what are they
The LSAs.
LSAs,
Yeah.
and attendance is part of the LSAs.
No, it's because
Yeah,
like
it's Haru.
a lot of thing
I
about
do. I
the
like
big
to
thing
say.
about like diplomas is it just tells
Yeah.
employers that you've gone somewhere for 12 years straight.
Okay, this doesn't work.
So like you're just a reliable person.
That is a useful thing, but I think the only way you can say that is if you take a useful course. Like
Yo.
everything I've ever learned,
Monsieur Luffa.
like in high school, I wish I remembered more when I was in university. Because like it was so helpful.
things on one side and 2 things on the other.
I used to make fun of things like social stuff, and I'm like, when was that useful?
So you got 4.
But then as I got older, I'm like, actually, I wish I paid more attention to those lessons. Particularly as we
Here,
have
look,
a
so
rapidly developing political system.
Adrian, why, if we do CO2
What
and
we have is
C4,
Yeah.
like,
Now you gotta balance the oxygen. Oh, no, your oxygen's good.
Yeah,
use a fucking
No,
nose.
but why am I drowning it?
Yeah, so what's your charge? Add about charge.
2E on.
Yeah, 2E minus.
And then it's not.
Yeah. There you go. I'll just put up the final answer so you can check.
What numbers it fit in? 3 and 4. So they fit into 12.
Okay, so we get.
2 and then 4.
Well, I'll just go with this.
Mr. Newfield,
Yeah?
how do we have them together again?
You want to make the number of electrons the same? So what number do both?
Yeah, and we did that.
We already
Oh, you did that. And now you have to, and then you add them together.
Like this side plus this side, and then this side plus this side.
Yep.
Okay.
That is.
And then you drown it because it's supposed to be in base for this particular one.
Oh, do we add them together then drown it?
2M04.
Drown it. Have you done your side of the reaction?
Oh wait, what if they're like
There's
just
only
on
one
the same
side.
side?
There's only one side. You are.
Yeah, what if
3C2O4 2 minus.
you weren't flopping? Mr. Newfield,
Yeah?
what if the electrons are on the same side?
Oh, then you've done something. That is an indication you've done something terribly, terribly wrong. The electrons cannot be in there. Unless I gave you a question that was impossible, which I know I didn't.
You did.
4H2O.
What?
Yeah, because we.
Okay, let me just double check.
Now we have to.
Okay, for the manganese one, what side are the electrons on?
Left side.
And for the C2O4 one,
And that correcting for O.
What was your H2O?
what?
Oh, you can just.
No,
Oh,
it's just with half of the
double
and
that.
then I added
You have to double that.
my fuck.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can-
I mean,
I know, we
flip
did the same
reaction
thing with
around,
the
but
first.
that doesn't change anything.
Oh, and I forgot that too.
Because right now he's doing
Oh, this is,
Okay.
which is different.
yeah, major atom. Do the major atom
For
first.
H2O would be yours. Whereas
Just ignore that. This is what you had before. Just ignore it. Just do it from scratch.
This cancels completely, and we have a final.
No, no, you have to balance the carbons. Yeah, no, that's right.
Got H2
Okay,
this.
do that.
Sure.
Okay. Now, why do you have 4 H's over there?
Yeah. So
Because there's this many.
And how many O's are there on this side?
how much O's?
So you don't have to balance.
H2 on that side.
So no H2O.
No H2Os.
That is rogue.
So this is genuine and base.
Are there any H's that you pronounce? No, you don't. So that part's done.
Oh, this.
What's the charge on this
Like
side?
the whole thing.
The one.
What's the charge on this side?
It's neutral, so you could add.
Add 2 electrons to that side.
That was so mean.
I thought it was easier because you don't have to do the things.
No, I didn't like it, but I appreciate
So-
it.
Is it the same with them?
Well, this one did not have the same number of oxygens on both sides, so we had to add 2 waters there to balance off the oxygens. Because this is 2 plus 2 more.
Yeah,
Does that make more sense
We
now?
got
it's
Yeah.
the exact same.
Yeah, I think so. It should come out to 3.
No.
And that one should come out to 2.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so
It's right, yeah. And then you're going to multiply it in a way that they both end up at 6.
So do you want to?
Don't multiply by 4. No.
So I get.
Goes to 2, I'm going to 2.
Wait.
So it should go 4 times. Goes to.
Are they right?
This has a negative. So you have 3
Plus
electrons.
6.
That's 4H2.
What, by how much is that? What's the difference?
3 electrons, MnO4 negative.
Plus 6.
No, 4H plus 2, right?
Plus 8 on it.
And then 1 negative. No. Oh, actually, yeah, no, it's both change with, yeah.
So
Yeah.
combine it, it's 6.
Yeah.
Minus.
And then a
6
negative.
CO2.
That's 8.
So the final complete drowned in water to make a basic reaction is here. Check it when you're done. If you have anything wrong, call me over. Let's see if we can find out where it is.
Go to this one either. Which order you want to take the first one? Oh, yeah.
Oh, because there's an
Because you can't add. I don't know what you did. Did it work out?
These cancel.
I mean,
Oh yeah, you just doubled everything. You didn't need to do that.
I don't.
Oh, actually, no, you did.
no, I doubled
Nothing
it.
else.
Yeah, we got
cancels.
that.
No, you did. You did have to double that to get 6 electrons, so you cancel out. Yep.
I have made that 4. I didn't make that.
Yeah, I think.
I wonder if I staple or slate do away.
Please do not say when and where.
So that gets us.
Oh my gosh. Because you know what they're going to do. They're going to take these whiteboards to the new buildings.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, they don't have to use it.
Are they too cheap to anyway?
The school's so
This-
cheap.
I'm just buying
This school's
them.
cheap. Have you been in a non-Brentwood public school?
Yeah.
We get so many resources. The problem is we don't have infinite resources. So the new building may have some of these whiteboards, and then they'll replace
It comes at
them.
a
and we'll
cost
get
of
new
our
ones.
freedom.
How does it come at the cost? You chose to be. You chose
I
to
like.
be.
I like
No, it's not
blackboards
choose
more.
to.
Oh, you know what? Zed says choose to be when he doesn't come to class. Why is it choose to be if we can't choose to go to class?
You knew that when you came here, you had to wear a uniform, right?
Yeah.
So you chose here knowing the rules, and if you don't want to be here, you can choose to leave. But if you're choosing to be here, you're choosing. We couldn't run the school if like students were like, I choose to drink in my dorm. Like we're just parents wouldn't send their kids. Yeah. But we don't. Like I don't ignore that. Like it always comes about at this time of year. Someone will make the dumb statements and go, "We're grads.
Mr. Neufeld.
They can't expel all of us." And the answer is they would have to. And something very similar to that happened a number of years ago. A bunch of those, like 12 or 15 people, all got caught like 2 days before graduation. They suspended all.
Suspended?
Well,
2 days.
we're not going to we're not going to let you not graduate. However, they all did. I had 3 boys in my house. They missed graduation. They weren't allowed to go. Then they had to come back to the school and perform 40 hours of community service before they would release their transcript to the university. Because you are not technically in until it's released.
What did they do?
They were drinking, just
That's
got
just
caught in
child
a really
labor.
obvious way. No, some actually arranged community service back in their hometown, but because that can be hard to arrange, the school was like, well, we'll let you come back here and work it off like you were actually like you were suspended. It's not like they want, like I don't want to stay sad. Mr. Sullivan wouldn't want to do that. My 3 boys in the house were very sad and their parents were very angry, and I think I would be angry too as a parent. But imagine a world in which they didn't do that. Then what would happen?
Freedom.
Well, the next year, how many people would do the same
That's
thing?
so easy to organize and just fake it back home.
Most people who get caught because they just didn't bother to think and do it back home.
No, but
Oh, you mean that thing?
community service, you can fake it at home, why would they come back and do it?
Because parents are not usually the ones not in on that. Because we require a parent sign off. If your parents are willing to lie for you, yeah, you can get away with anything.
Oh yeah, my parents have it.
Yeah.
My parents
My
were.
parents wouldn't know.
Maybe we should start drinking.
Why?
Gleb, please, I have so much work to do between
Hey,
now and the
lucky
end of
for
the year.
you, I quit a year ago.
You didn't quit a year ago, you got better this year.
I've never been caught, how would you know?
Oh, I thought you meant working. You quit drinking a year ago, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You're confessing right now?
Confessing.
There was a, when I was an assistant, there was a boy in the house, every Tuesday night, Mr. Canna, the old house friend, would walk by. And he'd have like, he'd be sitting over this truck with his traditional glass of orange juice. And Mr. Canna would be would make a joke about it being
Minus 8 here.
it's a vodka and orange juice drink. I can't remember what it is. But make a joke about his, sunrise or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
sunrise and peace.
Yeah, and he would, and the boy would laugh, and Mr. Canna would laugh, and Mr. Canna would keep walking. And then one night he says, we keep joking about it being vodka and oranges, but given the number of times, it would be really bad if I'd been ignoring it, so I just had to check. It was vodka and oranges. He'd been doing that Tuesday night because he was sleeping the next day, the whole time he was in grade 9. He got caught like in May, yeah. We don't want students to come here and pick up a drinking habit, that would also be wrong.
Wait, what?
Well, I was
So
wondering,
during
usually
like
that-
drinking?
Every Tuesday night?
Every Tuesday night, and
Yeah.
the teachers were like, okay with that?
No, Mr. Canna would make a joke,
Oh,
but from his perspective, it was just orange juice.
oh.
Yeah, until he checked it, which is why when students joke, I'm like, now I have to open the water bottle and actually smell it because you joked, and now I have to double check that it's not true. And you weren't joking just to throw me off the scent.
Okay, so, class over?
No. But if you would like, I'm not gonna have, if you wanna take a break on your phone for a moment, that's okay. You missed this one, if you wanna give it a shot, just make sure you can do it.
Has there been-
If not, but
Has there been an instance where someone's like, after they graduate, like confessed they'd done something and got it?
he was in that picture that somebody in the house was showing, they had the report and they found a picture of Privet Boys. And he was like, do you know them? And the problem is once you leave, my brain is very bad with names, and so names just go. So please don't walk up to me after you graduate in 10 years ago. Hi, what's my name? That would like kill me. Because I'll remember everybody's faces, I'll remember personalities, I'll remember everything. I will not remember a name. And just to put it in context, I'm not evil, and that I don't forget deliberately. When I was dating Mrs. Handley, for the first 2 weeks, I wrote her name on my hand. Her name was Lisa. Like, it wasn't hard, but my brain just doesn't like names. Anyway, it shows me them, and I don't remember his name. He's the middle kid in there. When he graduated, he ran to me to say, Mr. Neufeld, I have something I have to tell you before I go. And I'm like, what? And he goes, I vape. And I'm like, we all know. We haven't caught you, but everybody knows. It's not a secret.
So the teachers don't.
Wait, so once you,
It's really hard to catch.
so once you graduate, you just, you get your diploma.
I would rather not know all the terrible things that I know students are doing things. I don't want to, it really does affect kind of sometimes how we see, like, I don't want to know that people, sometimes it's more for the benefit, I think the student wants to get it off the chest. It's not helpful in any way. I don't want to know. I mean, helpful if they're like, hey, if my kid ever comes back here, check the second floor dorm 5, there's a secret door we stash all their stuff in, and I can get that blocked, but other than that. And there's been a couple of those.
Really?
Yeah, maintenance puts in stuff, and then sometimes people figure out how to open stuff. There was one year that laundry had to come and see me because all the boys were, not all the boys, but a couple of boys were destroying their mattresses because they were cutting huge holes in them and then finding their alcohol in them. So we started flipping mattresses for every number one until it had went away.
How they even know this?
Because they come and clean up at the end of the year. I know what dorm they I know what bunk they're in.
I thought even like weekly laundry goes. I was like, what?
Oh, no.
No.
It was, end of the year you find more stuff. But ideally, you wouldn't want everybody to be here doing stuff while you're trying to learn. It'd be incredibly distracting. And you all can take weekend leave and have reasonable parents. Because I know cannot do this. And then when their own child is here, like, yes, you cannot do this. But I give them permission to go to this grad party, that grad party, that grad party. Because obviously we want our kids to do the same things. We just have to make sure your parents know. And university will be fun. Just don't overdo it and keep it. Who was it that gave the advice? The first advice they gave was like, eat everything you can from the dining hall. Was that Ned?
Eat everything you can.
Yeah, because he has discovered since he left here and he's buying his own food or getting dining hall food from his university, food is crap. He was like, you guys are so lucky. I've lost so much weight. I exist on nothing but bad chicken and rice. And the second one was do prep. Because so many people away from home for the first time, they go, whoa, when they don't do prep, and then that's where they,
Bad habits.
yeah, bad habits. But if you just maintain the structures you've learned, you'll be fine. Even with beer in the student union. Except for the poor Americans. Who have to pretend they're not drinking. It blows my mind. There's a guy who was arrested just the other day, it made the news. He was sitting in his own house that he owns. He's been working in construction since he was 16. He is now 19 years old, owns a house. The police came in and arrested him for drinking.
In his own house.
Yeah, a neighbor saw him drinking. He's 19 years old. The age of drinking in the U.S. is 21. You can get drafted. You can get drafted and fight in the army and still not be able to drink.
Where I live, it's U.S. territory, but it's 18 though, so it's weird.
Mm.
I'm able to go into the grocery store or whatever and get stuff.
The reason that is because the states can set whatever age they want, but if they set it less than 21, the federal government doesn't give them a certain amount of money. So there is money. So every state just makes it 21, so they get the money. But if you're a U.S. territory somewhere, they don't even get that money, so they can just do whatever they want. And that's the same with the provinces don't get money from the government to make it a certain one, but the provinces get to set it, which is why it's 19 in BC, 18 in Alberta. Federal and provincial.
Correct.
That's what Alberta's
What,
better.
Quebec? I thought Quebec was just old enough to reach the bar.
16.
Don't do that.
Boom.
That whole.
I went straight.
No, you did not. You did not. You
I
did
went
not.
straight up. Oh
Is it
my
16
God.
in Germany?
Yes, you can even drink with 14 with your parents.
In BC, you can also drink in your home with your parents.
Most places you can drink.
Now, if you're like in a restaurant with your parents say, yeah, you can drink, then
Yeah,
14 you're fine.
in Europe, if you're with your parents, you can drink.
The same was true when I was a kid with my parents, but I think they changed the laws because I don't see that anymore. And I
No.
just assumed the laws changed in BC.
My parents have always like
Well, everything's
tried to
legal
sneak me
now
a drink
in
in
BC,
the
so-
stuff. Nah, you can't do that.
I was sitting down once and my cousin was beside me. He had ordered a Coke and then he takes a sip and he's like, ooh, this is really good. And then the waiter comes running out, grabs his Coke and just, well, Coke. He accidentally gave him a rum and Coke.
Are we having a prefect meeting today?
Ooh, I meant to text Elias. I can't be there.
Good.
I am handing out pins.
What are we yapping about today in the British meeting now?
No meeting.
I don't, there's nothing specific I think we need to do. Unless Elias has some organizational stuff.
He just texted the group chat, but I can't check because I'm in a game.
You said yes.
He said we have one, okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's what Elias said.
They're gonna discuss the perfect grad video.
Oh, we have a perfect grad video?
Yep. That's actually a good thing to go and discuss.
Do we have to make it ourselves?
Yeah. It's
Nah,
like,
somebody
it's like
makes
the
it
open
for
house
us.
video. You have a whole other video to make now. It's gonna play, I believe, when you're at grad. So, like, all your parents are gonna see it.
Let me guess, am I?
And see how cool you are.
Yeah, let me guess, am I heading again?
Well, probably. Like, it's not like we hired some editor now. You're still the only guy who can edit.
And thank you for, are you one of the ones that edited at the last minute before Sully approved it on that
Possibly.
morning?
I got the go
Why
ahead.
didn't- wait.
I was told to remove a minute that morning, and I had a spare. I was hoping to do some studying for a test.
Why did we have to remove a minute?
You pulled out it last minute, put it all together. We wouldn't have had a video otherwise. So thank you.
Yo, what is this?
You're supposed before
Span.
chemistry.
I think that's before chemistry now.
You're supposed before chemistry.
Yeah, I think it's before chem.
House, I mean, it's a fight.
Solid. The way you worded the email is like, I'm sure you put a lot of effort into this video, but
I mean, I don't like being fair to Mr. Sullivan, but he does the same thing to every house. It has to be a certain amount of minutes, and he doesn't let them go over. So please advise next, like the 11s, when you make the video, stick to the time.
no, but it seems like you keep getting shorter each year. That's fine.
It depends on the assembly it's going in, because it depends on how many items there are. So, and I think it's been, what was it, 2 minutes it has to be?
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
I think that was announced at the beginning of the year, like 2-minute videos. Mr. Sullivan doesn't like the videos.
I know, but
I know.
you
That's
can't
right.
do much of a 2-minute video.
I know. You guys aren't old enough to know Vines, but you do a lot in 13 seconds. Look up Vine compilations on YouTube.
I missed
Yeah, I used to watch this on my
TikTok's
kid.
so much worse. Vine was the peak.
But when you're trying to like movie scenes, you need time. So
Yeah. Well, you said, I guess, be very, very clever.
I still don't understand how the condom scene was inappropriate.
You can't show condoms in an assembly.
Why not?
That was
They're condom
hilarious, yeah.
defects.
That
Okay,
scene was hilarious.
just, okay, to
They
give you the
hand out-
depth
they
of
hand out
why it's a
co-
problem.
They hand out
I
condoms
have
to
on
grade
more than
ones
one occasion in a
public
house
schools
parent
these
meeting
days.
have to defend the fact that we have condoms in the house as a health measure. There are people who would like to make sure that the houses do not have access to
Why?
because you
What?
obviously shouldn't be having sex here. And so they still have the idea
But people
that
will-
if we
people do
have
anyways.
condoms, we are encouraging sex, despite the fact that the research not only doesn't say that, it just makes, like, people are gonna have sex whether or not you have condoms, even if they have to use a Twix bar wrapper. Which is what one boy in Privet House did.
Whoa.
I found out at the end of the year, why do they call them Twix?
Wait, but do they not know teenagers or like?
There are people who have very strong traditional views, and you have to remember that the vast majority of
board
people,
members?
not the vast majority, there's a significant minority of parents who send their children to the school who are very, very conservative. If the tour sees me walking around in a kilt, they will go the other way, just so that they don't see me. I don't know why everybody's wearing the kilt. There's no hot weather option in our dress code. If you're at Shawnigan, you can wear shorts.
Like just
I heard
as a
of
school thing,
Yeah, like it's part of the uniform.
just your regular shorts.
No. They have like
School
uniform
shorts.
shorts.
Yeah.
There was a bit of
They're just like black dress shorts.
news
Yeah.
story on
Why can't we
something
have that?
similar where
Okay,
a boy in
explain to
school
me,
didn't
why is it
have
Pekka
a
too
summer
shiny
dress.
towel?
It was like
All the boys
crazy
wore kilts.
hot. All
Yeah.
the boys wore
Yeah.
kilts.
I find the kilt
Like literal two shorts.
so much more comfortable
Pro one.
in the summertime. So I was like, I mean, obviously I wear it to support Omni since I'm the Omni rep, and to normalize people who dress differently. But on the other hand, once I did, it was like, oh my god, it's so much nicer.
I think we kind of like kilt for Gender Bender Day.
I'm just gonna ask Ryan.
I'm gonna go message some Coke people or something.
Ryan definitely has a spare.
We should probably have a house meeting tonight about that too. Because the main problem with Gender Bender Day is make sure you return all the items in the same condition in which you borrowed them. Kilts and shirts are expensive.
Well, the shirts are the same for boys.
What is that?
Pardon?
What is that?
Kilts and shirts are expensive.
No,
when?
Monday.
Tomorrow is Gender Bender Day.
Is it?
Yeah. Saturday.
What?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Never mind.
And Monday is the Wear Bright Colors Day, Rainbow Day.
Wait, isn't the shirt?
Although technically, if you pick up a pin today from the pin pledge that I'm going to, that would be your colors, and then you could wear anything you want.
Can't wear anything I want either way. It's kind of just.
I just lost the pen.
I really like, when I first came to the school,
Let me just wear myself out.
Gender Bender Day
Win that round.
was an entirely, like, no staff planned it. Staff actually were kind of irritated at it. The very last day of school, everybody would just swap. boom. And then they would show up in class, they'd get on stage as they do all the awards in the run, and like, snap, blah, 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 and they just did it every year, consistently, boom, 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 boom. And then one year, admin, and I don't know who, said, oh, Omni said we could cancel it because it's gender and it's bad, the way we're doing it. And then the captain of the time actually had 2 students, they almost, I don't think they actually spat in her face, but they were like, you cancel it. Gender bender day, how dare you? And then kids in class were getting yelled at for it. And Omni was like, we didn't say anything, we love it, but we don't even plan it. And we would like it not to go away. So they got a double whammy of being blamed and getting all the backlash. So that's why Chloe this year tried to get it back for everybody.
What do you mean, we got it every year? What do you mean we get it?
No, we had dresses you want, which wasn't quite the same thing.
No, last year,
But I don't think it was called gender bender.
2 years ago.
It was just, go as you want.
2010.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I think admin doesn't like it when the students do that, especially on the last day on assembly day. And so when the opportunity came to kill it, they tried to kill it. But now we have different people, and lots of those people have retired. And tomorrow we have a brand new head to train. Imagine what we could get him to do.
So class is over, 7 minutes left, trying to, please, what if I need to go to the washroom? Like you're supposed to do that.
But you don't.
I don't wanna be late to
No,
this class.
you haven't had that problem in at least a year, so
So
it's
like
quick.
6 months in the
You're just gazing outside.
Yeah.
When I don't wanna, I have colleagues who teach, and if they're trying to teach or doing something, when a horde of people who are really excited to leave go, it disrupts the school. So I don't mind what you're doing now, we've worked really hard, we wanna take a break right now.
Why are we having a prefect meeting when we have Pokeballs? Bowls.
The grad
What's that
video's
grad
coming out,
video?
that part's reasonable, the grad video's coming out, so.
No, but I want to
Yeah, grab the Pokeball and go down.
but I need 3 or 4.
There's
Maybe
no
you'll
call
run back
about
and forth.
not showing up.
Yeah, I know. I should pull a Seth.
No, you should be there, we'll need you in the grad.
Why did Seth get in so much trouble and Haru didn't, even though Haru's good?
Haru did, and Haru has
No,
stopped.
it's cause Haru actually improved.
Yeah, Haru improved, and Seth kept pulling stuff.
But he's got like double of Seth's.
It's not so much like you're looking at it as amount, but it's also, we've told you not to, and then you stopped. We've told you not to, but then you continued, are also 2 different situations. And Haru's not double, Seth has given him a run for his money.
Yeah. Can we make
That's
like
my
bets on who will finish with more skipped classes?
Well, both of them have improved